And then here's the garden. September 2015. This is our connector to actually water the garden. The neighbors gave us this watering system. So we've got these little, we'll get down close. Let's put you through the hole here. You can see there. These nice little watering things. They've given to be really handy. We've also got a lot of needles in the garden. We've got a pine tree behind us. So we built a fence. We took PVC pipe and built this fence. So we had, I can't remember how many pieces, but we've got little joints here at each one of them. And so that's about 5 feet high, keep the deer out. We live in a residential area, lots of deer. And so we made 4 of these. We got 5 feet chicken wire. And then we just hold them together with these things. And so you can pull them apart and then you can actually open the fence if I actually took that other one off. We also have got these things holding down the fencing. This is actually came off, but so that would hold that down. Let's see how it goes. So here's one that's actually holding that down on the bottom. So we take a hammer and pull those up when we want to get into it. So you can, the nice thing about this setup is you can pull off any one of these 4 doors to get in whatever side you want. So yeah, it's September, things are kind of calming down here. We had basil and oregano and thyme. I just put some, let's see, what did I just put in? Those are endives there that I just started to grow for a fall harvest. We'll see how that goes. But a lot of everything else has been in for at least 3 or 4 months. The tomatoes are looking pretty good. Had about 3 tomatoes in each, 3 tomato plants. I think we've got 4 there, but the one on the far right's 2 Romas. And they did pretty good. So this are 8 by 4 feet beds. We've got 2 of them. Got some onions there. Oh, this is a good thing. Our steaks. These steaks were a little too thick, so they're about the size of my finger. The smaller steaks seem to be better. It's tough once the ground dries up to actually get those things back in. So you can see these ones are kind of tough. This one we were able to get in. And you can actually weed whack and mow over these, which is nice. Got some carrots down here. They're not really doing that great. Probably wouldn't plant carrots again. We'll see. If I pulled one of those up, they'd only be about this big, just small little carrots. Radish just didn't do so great. My cabbage got destroyed. Here's some broccoli I'm trying to put in and to grow. You can see it's got a lot of leaf damage there. The cabbage moth have been particularly terrible. I haven't put any chemicals on here other than fertilizer, so no herbicides, pesticides. Got some onions here. Oh, you can see too our kale. The kale has got destroyed by the cabbage moth. Maybe next year I would have actually tried the probiotic, the what's it called, BT, not BT corn, but the actual Bacillus thuringiensis that will actually kill the caterpillars. Got some Swiss chard, that's been doing pretty good. I'll plant that again. The kale over here, now it's funny, they seem to attack certain plants more than others. So these have done a little bit better on this side. The cabbage, here's 2 that are doing alright. I just pulled 2 other ones out that the caterpillars had totally eaten the whole inside of the head of the cabbage. No good. And then I did at one point have radishes here. They didn't do so great either. And my onions from seed were a pretty big failure. Don't think I'd do that. My grandfather told me you should grow from bulbs anyway. Had some pepper plants over here. You can see they're actually starting to produce their second set. I have some jalapenos up there. Where's the jalapenos? Oh, there we go. So overall, it's been a good, successful garden. Okay, so I realized I forgot to tell you a little bit more about this fence. So I'm gonna start a second part here and just merge these two videos together. So we spray painted the fence, so that's maybe one thing you can see here. So there's the white. So we spray painted it green. I'm sure the neighbors, when we first put up the fence, were concerned about this big white eyesore, and with the orange buckles too. It was quite bright. So we actually spray painted it green, and that made it nice. It makes it really blend in. Then the other thing you can see here is we used plastic twist ties, or what are those things called? You know, they're the long things and you pull them through, and then we cut them. We used pliers to just cut them. So you pull it tight on the chicken wire and then just clip them. And so that holds all of our chicken wire in. We picked specific points and went down 5 or something, you know. We had to cut the chicken wire to get it to fit. I can probably add some pictures to show you what that looked like. So that's how we got the chicken wire on there. And then I realized I said it was 5 feet chicken wire in the first part, but it's not. It's 6 feet. And that's because we've got this extra foot here at the bottom that then we can use to hold it onto the ground so we don't get the rabbits and groundhogs and everything else that wants to get in our garden. So I think that shows you how this fence was made a little bit better than how I said in the first part. So you can see, you know, we've got this T here holding these two sections together, and then all these holding that chicken wire on to the fence. The other thing is, you know, we've got these things on most of them. We did choose to just hold the fence together over here with just the twist ties. So here's I don't know if they're really what they're called, twist ties, but you can buy, you know, 100 of them for $3 at Home Depot. And then we just held this because we're not going to actually open this corner ever. And the other part that I forgot to mention was we've got this stake that we then drove in the ground at each one of the corners. And that holds this fence on to, or each PVC pipe chunk, the 4 sections together, so you give it corners. So that we drove down, I think these are maybe 4 feet, and we drove it about a foot into the ground. So these nice stakes here. And we got this idea for this fencing from another YouTube video. So thanks YouTube and people for sharing and making videos. So that's why we wanted to put this one up so other people could see what the creation looks like. And the other thing I want to say here is, you know, we are on a hill. This was tough. We've got a big tree root in our front yard, so that was quite an adventure getting the ground up there. But we were able to make it work. And so I think anywhere you've got a little space of land, you can put a nice raised bed garden in. And we had to buy the dirt. So we bought dirt from a local place and put that in. And then I've just fertilized probably once every 3 weeks, 10-10-10, according to my grandfather. And everything looks good. You know, we've got our green pepper plants here. They've been a good crop. We put a good bit of money in. I'm gonna say we probably put about $300 in together to get this whole thing in. But not bad. We've had about, I think, 60 pounds of tomatoes, maybe 20 pounds of peppers. And you add those up in the grocery store, we've almost paid for the fence. So next year and the future years, when we reuse the fence and the beds, we really do actually make out on our money. So there you have it. Alright, the last part of our series is Bob undoing the gate, or the fence. And we can just open it halfway too. So the beds in here, they're 4x8 beds that we constructed. We made them out of pine, untreated pine. There was some reviews that said pine weren't that great, but we went for it. It's supposed to last 5 years. And there we go. Can get right into the garden. Works pretty nice.